Hi everyone, welcome back to Plum Mashables. So it is decorating day, so let's jump straight to it. We'll fly past my navy week, which by the way, that was what I meant to say. By the way, thank you so much to everybody who left such lovely comments. Don't worry, the navy will not go away. I will do more navy. I'm a little scared of how much navy I'm going to do. So today I'm going to be using some things from this big old bad boy. If you remember back a couple of months ago before I moved, I did a walkthrough of this one, so I'll link it down below for you. But it has been mentioned that I haven't actually used it yet, which isn't true. I did. I used it the weeks that I was away. So the catch-ups, which I'll also link down below. But you're right, I haven't actually used it for you on camera, so I am going to use it today. So I'm going to start off with the very first page in the book, because I love this green. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And it's kind of a waste, because I'm not going to use that paper there. So I'm actually going to tear this out. This is perforated too, but obviously I've just done a really terrible job of doing that. But anyway, so we've got it out. Ooh, it's very heavy. And so I'm going to run this absolutely gorgeous flower, and I know it's not going to be, it won't look right because obviously I'm going to cut so much of it off, but I'm going to run it along the top and the bottom of both sheets. So I'm just going to stick them down first and then cut them so that they're to size. I don't want to waste any of it. And because I've got to be a bit careful here, I don't want to use that this book belongs to, obviously. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to be back in just a sec. Alright, so obviously it's not finished yet, but that's what it looks like when it's done. I've done it extra thick on the top, so right up to the line, so that you really get the sort of sense of those colours, I suppose. And the reason I did it sort of this way, so sticking it down first, is just because it's a little bit easy to get a sense of what it's going to look like this way. It's just a longer way, but I think it actually ends up looking better. Now you can cut the edges off with either your scissors or your paper trimmer. I am going to do the tops though with the trimmer, just so they stay straight. But the sides aren't so bad, I say, as I'm having issues cutting. Because you can sort of see where you're cutting and it's not such a big line. While I was fast forwarding that, I was humming and singing, and I was saying that's one of the reasons why I like when I fast forward stuff, because I can sing. And Ryan said, you know, you can sing in your show. And I'm like, no one will ever tune in again if I sang on camera. That would be very dangerous, scary, and just all around a horror show. So let's never do that. So I'm just going to finish cutting these off, and I'll be back in just a sec. So Ryan just asked a very appropriate question, I suppose, and that was, why didn't I just cut these off where I wanted them the first time? The reason I didn't was because these were so long and one edge wasn't right. Number one, I had to get my other paper trimmer out, and we all know I don't like that paper trimmer. But second of all, it meant I could actually line this up and use this as my straight edge to make sure this was straight at the top. So that was more what that one was about. So the next thing I'm going to do, if I can find it, and of course it's in my drawer, because I forgot to get it out, is just grab my eraser, and I just overshot with the glue dots a little bit here, so I'm just going to rub them out. And I'm just being really careful not to actually rub the paper on this, just because I've noticed with some of the paper in the Flow Paper Lovers books, if you actually rub on them, the colour comes off. So just a hint, if you're using them, if you're having them around the place, try really hard not to rub on them if you can. So what I'm going to do for my footy stuff this week, so I've already pre-made the actual little envelope, and what I've done there, list, not envelope. Envelope, who would know? So I've just used this Heidi Swapp paper pad that I bought from Spotlight so long ago I can't even remember. Obviously I got it on sale, which is great. So all I've done is taken it out, cut it in half, folded it over, and written the footy stuff on one side, the netball stuff on the other. And then on this side, I've just traced out a semicircle on here because I just really want this side to be round. But I wanted to show you I was doing it before I actually did it. So I'm just cutting that really gently. That's not the right word, but you know what I mean. Cutting it really carefully was what I meant to say. I'm also really bad at cutting circles. So I'm hoping that that looks okay. I'm going with it. So I'm going to put that in one of these envelopes that also came out of the Paper Lovers book. Yeah, well, you know what I mean. But what I want to do, because I love this detail, I don't want to hide it on the back. I want to actually make a feature of it. So what I'm going to do is I want to put something on the back though, because that's just a little bit too plain. So I'm actually going to cut the top of this so that that actually slides in like that on the top, but you still get to keep the design. So to start off with though, I want to put something on the back. Just going back into that book, and there's some absolutely spectacular sheets of vellum in here, which I was actually tempted to use instead of this green until I found the green. Where have you gone? So you get these sheets of vellum in here, which are just, oh, so good. But I want to use this one because I think it actually looks really pretty over the brown. Like it looks really nice there over the green. But if I can sort of show you, it just looks really, those drawings actually stand out really nicely against the brown. So I'm just going to tear this out gently because I don't want to rip it. I love vellum. Very, very pretty. So what I'm going to do is, because I can't stick it down with my glue dots because my glue dots are blue and that will come through, I'm going to stick it down just using some, like a glue stick. Can't believe I forgot what that word was. But just before I do that, I just want to double check that when I put this on the corner, that you can't see through, which you can't, so you're fine. So you can do this two ways. You can either cut it to size first and then stick it down, if you trust yourself, or you can do it the other way around, which is how I'm going to do it, which is kind of cut a little bit more than I need, stick it down, and then cut off the excess. So I'm just going to really carefully and very, very lightly, because I don't want to ruin the rest of the paper, just mark on the edges sort of where it is. And then I should be able to just use my paper trimmer to cut out the little bit that I want. You are going to waste a teeny tiny little bit this way, but not too much. Oh, so pretty. I have trouble finding where to use vellum in my planner sometimes. I've lost my edge, there it is. It's so pretty, and yet it sort of not gets in the way, but it's very hard to use sort of in your planner. So I'm just double checking that that's the right size, which it is. You can either use the corner proper, or you can unstick it. You can just sort of stick it in the middle and trim it all the way around. I'm just untwisting that just for a second, so I've got a bit more of a solid base here, which I'm still not going to, but better than it was. So I'm just going to put glue all over this. I'm rubbing it on really, really hard just because I want to make sure it definitely sticks. You can obviously see a little bit of the wetness coming through. I'm hoping that will dissipate as it dries. So then I'm just going to trim off the edges. You can use your paper trimmer for this, or you can just do it by hand. Because there's only a little bit, I'm just going to do it by hand. And I've just noticed that that's not sitting where I want it to. There's one thing I will give glue over glue dots. If you mess it up, you've got plenty of time to fix it. I'm actually just going to put a little bit more glue on this. Oh, who would have thought the lids on Kikki-k glue sticks was so hard? I'm going to make sure this is in the right spot this time. I think it just came loose when I was rubbing it, or slid up a little bit. I'm going to have sticky fingers after this. Okay. Now I'm going to trim off the edge, now that it's sitting in the right place. And just being very, very careful with this. Vellum has a tendency to slide sometimes with scissors. And what I mean by that is you'll be cutting along and you can sort of almost go out of control. And just a hint, make sure your string's out of the way before you cut along the top, or the side for that matter. Okay, there we go. So that's what it looks like when it's done. I really like that. But what I am going to do is just stick it underneath the paper lover's book off to the side of my desk for a little bit, so I can use the weight on that envelope and just give that a couple of minutes. So while that's drying, I'm going to go and do something else. I'll be back in just a sec. Alright, so I've just jumped over to my paper lover's book collection, and what I want to do is grab a piece of paper from the Escape range, but I'm going to be a little bit tricky here because I want to use a bit of this craft paper, but I don't want to use the whole piece. So I'm kind of using a offcut from a page that I know will get thrown away, or well, I'll use the envelope obviously, but the paper around it will probably get thrown away. So I'm just cutting out how much I need because I don't need very much. And so what I'm trying to do here is kind of match this paper. I obviously can't, and it's going to be a little bit too pale, but it'll do the job for what I need it to do. So I'm just going to put that back a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is make a tab so that I can have it sticking out as opposed to me having to punch holes in the envelope. So I'm just using this divider, this is just one out of the Paws range, as a kind of a guide for my shape. So I'm just lining that up there, and I just want it to be a little bit bigger. You'll see what I mean in a sec. So I'm just grabbing my pencil and just tracing that shape, and then just pulling it down a bit. Just going to trace that shape again around the corner, and then just with my ruler I'm just going to join those two together. Doesn't have to be completely precise as we're going to cut it out anyway. So I'm just going to cut that out. If you can, try and leave a little bit of an edge, not an edge, a little bit of a, I'm seriously stumped for words at the moment. I know what I'm trying to say. Hold on, I'll show you in a sec. Try and leave a little hook kind of thing here. So make sure that there is actually a fair amount of, a little bit of space there. Probably doesn't make any sense, but you'll see what I mean in a second. So then I'm just rubbing the pencil marks off. And depending on how pedantic you want to be, and we know this is me, so I'm going to be pedantic, I'm just going to stick this down on the other side. I just, two reasons. Number one, want to make it a little bit stronger. Number two, want it to be just plain on both sides. Make a mess on my desk. And because I've already got the shape, I'm not worrying so much about tracing it out the second time. So just going to stick that down and cut it out. Okay, I haven't done the best job of tracing that out, but I think it will be okay. So then we're going to go ahead, grab that envelope out. I'm going to work out where this is going to sit. So is it going to sit on the left or the right? Wow, it's Mother's Day next weekend. Probably should get Mum's card in the mail. So I want it to sit, just going to put this string out of the way. I want it to sit with the vellum stuff on the back. So obviously when it flips, you'll see it with the vellum. But it was just a little sort of extra bonus thing. This side's the star, but it was, yeah, just a bonus sort of thing that I wanted to do. So I'm just trying to work out which side I want that to sit on. I think I did it on the left last week, but I'm going to do it on the left again. Now you can do it two ways. You can either cut out like an actual, put your knife in the side here and pull it down and slide this out the corner. Because this happens to be one of these and one envelope that's folded the way it is, I can actually kind of get away, I think. Just making sure this is going to sit where I want it to sit. Which is, can almost get away here with undoing it, sticking this in the side and then re-gluing it. So I'm just really gently running my knife along here. I remember the last time I did something like this, someone said that I should use a hairdryer to kind of moisten the glue off a little bit. That's a really, really good idea if you're doing something really complicated or you really want to protect the paper you're using. Because I'm only cutting a little bit there and sliding this in, I'm not so worried about it this time. But it's a really good suggestion. So I'm just working out where that needs to sit. Trim that a little bit more. So it's going to sit right there. And if I can flip this over without completely stuffing it up. Just going to move it a squidgen. Remember to hold down that piece of paper so it doesn't move. Whoops. And then punch your holes. Fingers crossed that they're not too close to the edge. So the holes go there. So then cover the edge here. Do I have, that'll do. Not using too much glue, so it's alright. I'm just going to really quickly fix this bit because it's driving me crazy. I don't actually want to because I think I'm going to break it. So I'm just going to hope that I don't notice it. I shouldn't, but you never know. So grabbing the glue tape, really hoping this works, otherwise it's going to look really stupid. So putting it on both sides because you do need to secure it on both sides. Which of course now the bloody thing's stuck. I didn't really think that through very well, did I? It's alright, it'll still work. So putting that in there. Giving that a really good rub to make sure it sits there. It's a little too low, but it's alright. I'm gonna just deal with it. So then, to actually finish this off, because otherwise I have a feeling Ryan's going to crack it with me in just a sec, because this is taking me a really long time. I'm actually going to cut, rather than doing what I was going to do with the knife and just cut the top, I'm actually going to cut the top off and stick it down so that it is a bit easier. So I'm cutting that whole thing off. Why is that stuck? I think because of the little knobby thing didn't quite go all the way through. The blade didn't quite go all the way through. But if you just sort of cut the rest off with your scissors, that'll work. So putting it back on where it should be, but just sticking it down this time. So just with the glue. not quite so clever. Ryan's just pointed out that because that envelope was actually so low, that something was going to stick to it, which it is. So what I'm going to do now, I've just put that craft paper there. It was just the only thing I had there. And then I'm just going to cut it off, which should solve the problem. Basically, I forgot that there was going to be, and I've got another envelope here, so I'll show you what I mean. The glue was going to stick. You guys are probably noticing this too. The glue was going to stick here and close it up. So by doing this, you've saved it doing that. I feel like I'm saying this and that a lot. I'm very confused. And I'm just going to cut a little bit more than I have to, just because I don't like the little lip that's there. So I'm just cutting there. Perfect. And it's got that pocket. Seriously, Ryan should be doing this, not me. He's so much smarter than I am. So then you're going to put the string back around, make sure it's got the right sort of shape. Go. And then just putting my footy stuff in the top. Wow, that was a lot of work just for that. Worth it, but a lot of work just for that. So then you can see on here I've got a little post-it note that's just got a note. I ordered something from the Wish app online, so I just wanted to keep track of when I thought it probably would come in. It probably won't, it'll probably be late, but that was roughly when they said it should arrive. And also just so that I don't forget to follow it up if it doesn't happen to come in by that date. So I'm just grabbing a grey pen. I don't want to use green because I think that any more green's going to overdo it. So I'm just going to use the little, this is the stamp pen from Kkikki-k. It's got an envelope, a cloud, a star, a heart, and an apple. The envelope seems the most pertinent. Is that the word I want? Appropriate. That's the word I wanted. So I'm just going to put a little stamp there and stuff it up completely. Okay, lesson learned. Don't do that so hard. There we go. Oh well, a bit of pink never hurt anyone. So just putting those details in. That's going to bug me. That pink is going to bug me. I need to fix it. So what I'm going to do is grab... I was sort of hoping I'd have another off cut, but... Oh, hold on. These are all from... Yeah, no, nothing there. Oh well, I have to use a bit out of here. I want to use... Just going to grab this little leaf. And just cut him out really quickly. I'm just going to put him on that spot. Still keeping the envelope, but just covering up my boo-boo. That actually looks really pretty. I like that. The little leaf, I mean. Just because I do like that so much, I'm just going to grab another one. Not of that, I'm going to grab a flower. If I can find one that I like. I'm just going to glue this down just so I can have something there to signify Mother's Day. I'm not going to write it in this week, I'm just going to let the Kkikki-k thing sort of speak for itself. So then I'm just going to jump back into the Paper Lovers book. And something else and I don't know what. I'm just trying to find some other bits from this range. I thought they had some stickers, but can't quite remember. There's a lot in this book. It's hard to keep track of exactly what's in here. So I can't find anything else that I sort of want to use along here. So I think I'm going to do instead, and I don't know yet if this is going to work, but I'm just grabbing out that vellum. So I've got two bits. I've got one bit that's going to stay where it is basically. And then I'm going to grab my scissors and just cut out some of these other little shapes. and run them through my sticker maker and just kind of scatter them. I just feel like it needs some more black to it. And I don't have anything else that matches, so it kind of has to be the vellum. So I'm just cutting these out. I'm just going to cut one out first just to see if I like this. I'm just grabbing my sticker maker. Worked for a change. It's gonna work. So obviously that's very, very small, but it's just giving me the extra texture that I want. So I'm just gonna cut a couple more of these out, just do the same thing, and I'll be back in just a sec. So just before I keep going, what I'm gonna do is I'm run this whole bit of vellum through the sticker maker, just because when I cut that all, especially some of the little bits, it's gonna be really hard to run through the sticker maker. So I'm just making it a little bit easier on myself. Okay, so I've stuck a bunch of the vellum ones down. Ryan also suggested putting another green one on the side, which I actually think really looks really nice. The very last thing I'm going to do is I just want to put up the top here on each side sort of what round of the footy or the netball it is. So I'm just going to go and do that, but I'm going to grab, you can either do this through stamps or through stickers. Just trying to decide if I want to do it through stamps or stickers. I think I'm going to do it with some stamps. So I'm just grabbing my big box of stamps out of my drawer. So this is my big box of stamps. I don't tend to use stamps all that often, you guys know that. So I sort of tend to chuck it in the drawer and just use it occasionally. And I am going to use black ink if I can find a black one. Oh, I might have found the big one, but I'm just going to use the little one. So I'm just going to use this wooden stamp set. I believe I bought this, oh, I think I bought it from the reject shop. But I am just going to have a quick practice on the back of something else, because I don't really like stamps very much and I don't want to ruin the first thing I do. So I'm just going to practice really quickly. Look, see, I'm already learning. I need to put more ink on there. There we go. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this and I'm going to be back in just a sec. So those are those, but what I've realised is I don't have numbers. So I'm just also grabbing my Kkikk stamp set and just going to write in what round it is. So the footy is round 8. Go. And then the netball is round 12. Too far to the right, but anyway. Far enough over, it'll look right. I suck with stamps. Anyway, you get the point. I actually think that looks rather cool. I'll just make sure I put it with the footy side right. So now I'm done. Now I'm going to leave it alone. I think. Maybe. I know that envelope took a really long time, but I actually really like the way that's turned out, as much as I haven't actually done anything with it. I'm just sticking that down a bit better. There we go. I do really like that vellum side too. It's actually come out really nice. And when that happens to be flipped over, that's going to look really cool with all the other ones scattered around. So that is my week, Green Week, Mother's Day week. I don't quite know what I want to call this one yet. I might go with Mother's Day. It's got a very florally Mother's Day feel to it. So let's go with Mother's Day. I hope you guys did enjoy it. All the vellum stickers are coming up for some reason. I'm sure once they're squished, they'll be fine. If you guys did like this one, please give it a thumbs up. If there's anything you think I could have done better, let me know as well. I really like that one. You can do that by leaving me a comment down below, or you can find me on any of my social media links. They're all down below as well. I will list every product I've used down below too, so you can go and find it if you want to. I hope you guys have an absolutely awesome week. Remember to give your mum a big hug on Mother's Day, and I will see you again really, really soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.